Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining me. This was my second flight of the day with my trusty Mavic Pro. The location was the South Gare. That's on Teesside on the northeast coast of the North Sea in the UK. Today there were some tall ships attending Hartlepool, which is just further up the coast. But with it being so busy, I thought I would come to the South Gare, which is not far from Hartlepool, and see if I could see any on the journey from the Netherlands to Hartlepool. As you can see, we've got a wind farm on the northeast coast, not far from Redcar. So we're looking basically straight north, and my choice of target was to just fly out. I could see a 3-masted schooner on the horizon, but whether I could get close enough to get any shots and photos was debatable. There was a fair bit of wind about, and you may spot in this video when I changed to sport mode. Now, there were other shipping about, and they would be of interest if I couldn't locate or get to the tall ships. But let's just see how it goes. So, here we are, avoiding the wind farm by just moving to the left and just watching on the horizon for any shipping. We see a container ship come into view, so that's a target. Fly out to reach that, see what distance we're at, and decide whether we can go further or turn for home. I had set the home point at that central tower building that you saw circled. Just taking a little look to the right, and that's Saltburn headland further down the coast. So, trying to keep my bearings, I would always keep that ship in the vicinity of the direction I was going, and looking at the compass I was pretty confident I could just fly along a straight line and then return on that same line. But distances very deceptive, and all of a sudden we're near the 2-mile point. Now this is a fair way for any drone, but we're still scanning the horizon for a glimpse of the 3-masted schooner, and it's not to be seen. Just having a spin around just to see what we can see from this 2-mile point. And there's a nice shot of the container ship. We'll take that as a bonus for this flight over the North Sea. I'm leaving it unedited because this is interesting for myself and hopefully interesting for any of yourselves that follow drone flights or shipping or any of my subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, please get on board. So the warning signs came up: battery getting low, time to head home. And here you'll see me going in the direction of home. I'll pop up the warning sign at this point just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So that's the warning I got around about the 2 mile point. So the drone hasn't gauged the wind at this point, so its estimate was going to be cutting it a bit close. So I dropped the altitude as low as I dare to avoid any of the wind that was buffeting about. And we just carry on this path till we get to the shore. So again, I deliberately kept the footage as is. No speeding up, no cropping. I want to savour this moment, and I hope you'll bear with me. You can always fast forward through it if you want to get to the point where things happen. But for now, let's just say I was content to just pass the wind farm, keeping it on my left. Keep the height reasonable. When I say that, it was about 40 or 50 feet off the sea. No point in going any lower. The wind wasn't going to change. So I'm planning strategies now. I'm watching the battery level and it's dropping like a brick. Now, I can do nothing about the water, so I'm just trying to look for places to land. That's presuming that I don't make it back to the home point on the tower. Now, bear in mind that the tide is just on the turn, so I need to get it as far inland as I can. And then there's the whole point of access, point of reaching and accessing where it does land. So the things that were against me: the sunny day, bright lights on the screen. I use an iPad mini 5, so it's as good as I can get, but it's still not perfect. And every time an error message comes up, it steals valuable screen area. So cancelling any error message is vital. I'm flipping between the map and the camera view, trying to form a strategy. I guess drone anxiety stops people flying drones. With me, it just focuses my attention on gathering information. First obstacle is to miss that wind farm windmill. Keep well clear of it and aim for the point of the land. If I draw a straight line from the wind farm to the tower and keep on that path, then hopefully I've got a search area. Now that's not being pessimistic, that's just being realistic. I didn't take any screenshots at this point. I never thought of it, but believe me, the battery level was dropping like a stone. The wind was slowing me down. I'd been in sports mode, but it wasn't returning home in sports mode. So I could just put up with what I saw. So that's the final windmill of the wind farm past. Now let's just get this drone home. It's a very pebbly beach. Don't know what happened to my speech there. It's a very pebbly beach, and there's lots of people come down digging bait, gathering winkles. So little did I know these people would be great assets. I was still optimistic about coming down to the shoreline and finding the drone. Little did I know this was going to be beyond me. It's not too much of a spoiler to tell you that I did need help. So I'm trying to pick a point on the land. Do I go left or right? If I go left, it's more of an area to cover for trying to find it. If I go right, I mightn't reach the land. So I'm heading for the nearest point, and then we'll meet that when we come to it. Rechargeable batteries are notorious for dropping from 20% to zero in almost no time at all. So if this is the time to start twitching, then twitch away. I'm willing it to pick up speed, and I'm actually choosing a landing spot. it looks like I'm gonna make dry land. It's not gonna let me come back to the home point, so I'll just land it where I can. So I'm looking round for clues, and I look down, which is a mixed blessing because you lose all sense of where you are. It decides that it's going to land, but then a big error message blanks up my screen saying unsuitable for landing. So it's just hovering, and I'm desperately trying to think, what am I going to do? And I noticed there are a considerable number of rock pools. So I'm trying to move it, the drone that is, away from the water, but not too far inland where it's just lost among all the boulders and pebbles. It looks pretty straightforward, doesn't it? That's the tower I'm aiming for, so I go towards it, but then it won't let me. It wants to land. More error messages to clear off the screen, more decisions to make, and it's left hovering in the ground. So I'm presuming the wind farm is directly behind me on this point of view, and the tower is in front of the takeoff point. And I'm just deciding how this is all going to end. Well, as you might guess, hovering is still draining the battery. The camera's not pointing down, so it's safer, or as safe as I can make it. But how do I get to it? And the last move of the drone, unbeknown to me, it found a bit of battery, but it's, with my random moves, it's gone off a little to the left, so I'm almost losing my position. Well, this is the landing place, whether I like it or not. And, well, there we go. It's down. I decide to make my way down to the foreshore and find it. Now, the access to the pebble beach at this area is quite considerably demanding, especially at my grand old age. But it was either that or write off the investment of the drone and the footage. And for anybody that flies drones, you know that the footage is of considerable value to you, and you can't repeat it, not with the same conditions. So I did want it back. On my way down to the shore, I made way to let 3 young ladies go ahead on the single track route. In passing, I struck up a conversation with them and mentioned about my drone landing on the shore. They were going down to the shore to pick winkles, so they volunteered to keep an eye out for the drone, and that was fantastic. Here's the 3 young ladies. Can I just catch your names?
Yeah. Lindsay and Katrina.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping.
No problem. I hope you find it. I know.
And bringing up the rear. Maria. Thank you, Maria.
Okay.
So, they hadn't seen it on the foreshore, but I was still keen to have a go myself. I set off down on the pebbly beach, got about 30 steps and fell over. Even using a walking stick hadn't saved me. Falling down, I fell on my back, but I tucked my chin in so my head didn't strike anything on the way down. And I lay there like a beached whale, and I couldn't get up. I tried everything. I couldn't get onto my front to push up. So I shouted for help just as a young couple were passing along on the next level up on the walkway. They came to my aid very quickly. I'm making a video so I don't have to remember it. It's Annie and Aidan.
Hello. Hi,
Thanks
Brian.
very much.
You are very welcome.
They're off on drones. Wish them luck. What a fantastic pair of youngsters. Annie and Aidan. They were so lovely. They sat with me while I recovered. They helped me to my feet, took me to a relatively safe place, and they set off to hunt for my drone. Wow. You couldn't ask for better people to be around. I really think it restores your faith in humanity when 2 total strangers come to your help and then go even further, that extra mile. They were on a day out, both bikers, both energetic youngsters, and they offered to look for my drone on the foreshore. We worked out a plan, i.e. a straight line from the tower out towards the wind farm would be a likely starting point. And off they went. And this was the result.
There you go, we found it.
Yay!
Didn't take long, just a bit of perseverance.
Oh man.
And it looks all right as well. A little bit of scratches on the
It's the gimbal that I'm concerned about.
That seems all right to me. She
yeah.
seems nice and springy still. I don't know, did you have the 360 camera on top or?
No, I took it off.
Oh, so you didn't lose it. Great. I don't think you've lost anything then.
Best case scenario.
I folded the propellers in.
You
But
don't know. So, could you tell us where you found it, please?
yeah, it was
In a straight line from.
pretty much. Can you see where the first brown rocks are covered in seaweed, just in front of where the waves are coming now?
Yeah.
It was just about 5 or 10 foot further inland from there. It was just on the edge of a rock pool, getting water against it. So it was so close, mate. Honestly.
What a pair. Fantastic, lovely young people. They then proceeded to manhandle me back to my car. We stopped and had a few jokes along the way. And then they got me settled at my car, made sure I was okay, and off they went to complete their day out. I bet they never expected to meet somebody like me. What an adventure. I've since test flown the drone today, the day after, and it's fine. Ready to fly again. All I can say is thank you, Annie, Adrian, those 3 young ladies, and a couple of bait diggers that were in the area. Thank you all for again giving me faith in human nature. We're surrounded by nice people if you just give them a chance. Thanks for watching. Join me again soon.